Welcome back to another episode of Business Beyond the Blunt. I'm your host, Canna Breon, and I am so glad that you are here today tuning in to hear what we got to say today on Business Beyond the Blunt. Well, today we're going to talk about what I think and believe is an easy but also an entry point for Black and Brown people to get into the industry. Now, I understand that a lot of us have big hopes and ambitions and dreams to own dispensaries, cultivation sites, testing facilities, because we see the cash cow value that they present. Don't get me wrong. You can make a lot of money operating these businesses and become very wealthy. But let me let you in on a little bit of something that a lot of people not going to tell you. They require a lot of money. And I'm not just talking about some $5,000, $10,000. No. The typical cost for a dispensary will start around $250,000. That's how much it will cost to start a regulated, legal cannabis dispensary. Just about, like starting. And it almost ranges to like $750,000. That's the typical cost to open it. $250,000 to $750,000. That is a lot of money. Now, if you got it, go ahead. I'm just saying, go ahead if you got it. But if you're like the typical Black person, like me, you don't got it. Okay, now I understand that it's an opportunity for us to grow and do things, but here's the thing. That $750,000 is not going to be the only cost you're going to incur. I'm sorry. Let me be the first person to tell you. It goes up and up and up because you have to include your security, think about your insurance plans, think about everything. For real, those premiums that you're going to be getting because you're a cannabis business. But before we can even jump ahead of ourselves and get way out there into the deep end and open these cannabis businesses in the state of Virginia, well, not even the state of Virginia, across the board, in different states, you've seen that you have to be awarded a license, which means you have to win a license, which means you're competing for a license, which means that there's an application to get that license. Most of the applications will cost about $5,000. Typically about $5,000 is the cost for a license application inside the cannabis industry. Now, Virginia has not set nothing in stone yet. Virginia has not even published or released an application to own and operate a dispensary or a cannabis business inside of a regular market in Virginia, because it has regulated markets. It hasn't been done yet. Okay, legally, it hasn't been done yet. Virginia does not have any adult use cannabis dispensing facilities, political processors here in the state. Now, the state of Virginia was set up into 5 health service areas. There are currently 4 of those licenses that are occupied. Now, the 5th one is open. So if you feel like you got it, you want to go forth and get inside the cannabis, the medical cannabis side of things, go right on ahead and feel that they can see the information on the Board of Pharmacy website. But it's going to be an application process, okay? And this is now just as a scenario or an example of what can happen. The acting head of the Cannabis Control Authority, which the Cannabis Control Authority is the regulator for the cannabis industry here in Virginia. And what's going to wind up happening is Jeremy Prius, who is their acting head, he will say, we're going to release applications on June 1st, and they will close at the end of the month. Hypothetically, okay? That means you will need to have your entire application completed with your business plans, your investor statements, your projections, your marketing, where is your location going to be at, everything. Like everything will have to be included. Now, in most states, in some markets, as they started to see, they've required having real estate. That's an area, that's a barrier of entry for Black and Brown folk. Besides just this capital piece, it's this having I have to go. You telling me I have to go get a lease on a building or a lease on a warehouse or a lease on some land and not grow anything on it, which means I'm not making any money off of it. And I have to hold that, hoping that I get a license, that I'm awarded it. What about when I'm done? What if I don't win, and I have this space? Like, those type of things has to be considered when going through the application process. But that's typically what it will look like. They will say you got to have these X, Y, and Z required documents and plans all done by this date, and we're closing. They can literally give you 30 days. If they so choose to do so, give you 30 days to get everything you need. Let me tell you this right now. Black and brown folk will wait until they say it's time to get it done, and you're going to be left out. Because typically we don't want to go forth and do the thing until we see someone else's fan doing it. I guarantee you, the moment the green light is given, people would have already had their applications. And I know you don't know what it might look like, but just having the basics of your business plan, what you want it to look like, where it's going to be at, how you're going to fund it, all of those things simply done. And we're going to be waiting around. There's going to be people that are going to have that done by day one. And they're going to be submitted by the first. I guarantee you. So I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a game. It's really gonna be a game, and it's really gonna see who won it and who won it bad enough to actually go out there to compete. That's really what it will look like. Now, that's just the application process. I don't want to go and spend too much time on that. But as we're really starting to look at it, the cost is starting to be around $2 million to get these facilities up and going. And that's just a dispensary, not even a cultivation site. Like, this, like, honestly, when I mean this a lot, it is a lot. I know right now, just for a cultivation site alone, their light bill is about $20,000. That's the type of growth and space and capacity that we're looking at and using with these cultivation sites for sure. But yeah, it's a lot of money that is starting to be a part of these things. But now, what if I told you that there was an opportunity without you even have to spend millions of dollars in capital to start your cannabis business to start a cannabis business? Well, Business Beyond the Blunt focuses on the ancillary opportunities. We highlight and spotlight the ancillary opportunities of the cannabis business. So before I even get into it, today we're going to talk a little bit about what a ancillary cannabis business is, and how you can use your skills that you already use on a daily basis to transfer into this industry or to transition over or whatnot. So before we even get into the weeds or everything, let me just explain a few things about what an ancillary cannabis business is, or a cannabis ancillary business, or what a cannabis business is. So I'm gonna start with the latter. A cannabis business is a plant touching business, which means it touched the plant, it touched cannabis. So that means it's a cultivation site, it's a dispensary, it's a delivery company, it's a testing facility, so forth and so on. They all touch the product. So that means that they're a plant touching product. They're a plant touching business, Now, ancillary are those that are non-plant touching. So if you offer services such as legal work, or do some accounting, or you do government relations work, or you do graphic design, cleaning, plumbing, HVAC, lighting, whatever, all of those things that it takes to run that cannabis business is what an ancillary business is. It supports the actual cannabis business, which is plant touching. And here's the best thing that I really love and learned about cannabis, about an ancillary cannabis business. It's like I said before, it doesn't take a lot of money, like, at all. It doesn't take a lot of money whatsoever. But, you go forth, you create it, get your LLC, however you want to go forth about it. You create your entity or whatnot, and then you can become an actual business owner. But before we even get into the weeds and everything, We're just going to talk a little bit more about that and the opportunities that you have. So, as I did mention before, you can be an accountant or electrician or a plumber. You really have this opportunity to take your business from another level, from one level to another, literally by going to take a class and getting a certification. If you get certified to work on the lights, to work on the HVAC systems, to work on the plumbing systems inside of these facilities, I promise you, you're going to go from living and not working your business and not working for it, and not working it. That's really the opportunity that you have if you go ahead and take those things, take you to the next level. Like I said, if you're totally serious about it, go forth and do it. Now, here's the thing that I really want us to understand. The cannabis industry is projected to do $74 billion before the year 2030. I'm going to let that sink in. $74 billion before the year 2030. We're now in 2023. We're less than 7 years away. Now, with that being said, let me paint a better picture for someone and for you guys out there. Back in the day, it was the .com industry. But here's the thing, 20 years before the .com industry, it was the computer and software industry. The folks who worked with these software companies and computer companies, your IBMs, your Dell, your HPs, or however, the list goes on and on and on. These people, the workers, had an opportunity to grow with their company and grew with the industry. They're all millionaires today. Think about that. That's the opportunity that Black and brown folk have in front of them here in Virginia's emerging cannabis industry as it come online. That opportunity to finally create, gain, and sustain generational wealth. Now, if you want to learn more about how to start your ancillary cannabis business, or what it is that you look like you want to do, or you just say, I don't want to own my own business. I want to work in it. Let me know. Hit me up. Send me a message. We can most definitely take some time and craft that plan for you and whatever it looks like just for you. But here's the thing. If you guys want to tune in next week on the next episode of Business Beyond the Blunt, we're actually going to speak to a cannabis ancillary business owner and operator, an advocate, most importantly. Ms. Sarah Kyle Morton of Lock Green will be on next week. And she's going to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons and the benefits and what it truly does take to operate an ancillary cannabis business and what it looks like. So before, I just want you guys to know I'm totally here for you. We support you at Business Beyond the Blunt. If you have an idea you want and you think it can be worthwhile and make some money, let us know. Feel free to share it. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Down below, leave us whatever you feel as if it's on your mind or whatnot. But before I get out of here, I want to leave you with the great words of Ty Diddy. No one should be in jail for smoking weed. This is Canna Breon signing off, saying, safe blazing.